I'm happy to introduce you to Raquel Gomes, author, entrepreneur, psychologist, and mental health advocate for lawyers. Raquel, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you, Ale. All right. Give us a moment while we share our.
Great, I can see it.
Raise your hand if you think you are a workaholic. What qualifies you to be a workaholic? Let me give you a few examples. You're always on 24/7 work mode, first one in the office and the last one out. You take on client calls after hours and weekends or even holidays. You have a lack of boundaries between work and life outside of the office. So for instance, you carry your work wherever you go. During dinner time with your significant others, your phone is there and you don't disconnect from work. If you have kids, playtime is filled with stress and you're not able to truly be present in the moment and enjoy yourself. During vacation, you're constantly checking in with the office, so no true vacations are taken. This was me about 10 years ago. I had a big job in large corporate America in the high-tech space. Like my father, I was making a lot of sacrifices. I felt I had to work harder than any male colleague and was constantly having to prove myself to my supervisors, coworkers, clients, and myself. I feel that as a woman, we tend to feel this way, that we have something to prove and that we are not enough. Look at this picture. This woman is me, and I barely recognize her today. She was working with 4 computers while expecting a baby. I was 9 months pregnant in this picture, and that was the kind of mind space I was in at the time. I thought that in order to be perfect, I had to do everything myself. That's how I came to my breaking point. I couldn't do this anymore. I hit rock bottom. I no longer felt the same passion for my career because it was robbing me of my time with my family, and I had no time for joy. That's when I realized I needed to find another way of living. I grew up in Brazil in a very religious and traditional family. My father was an entrepreneur and worked hard to make his business a success. Along the way, he made a lot of sacrifices. He sacrificed time with his family and his health, suffering multiple heart attacks throughout his life. My mom, she put family first and career second, and often told me that as a woman, I couldn't have both, that I'll have to make a choice between a successful career and a happy family life. I love my mom, and I understand that she was a product of her time, but I rejected that idea. I believed there must be another way to do life. I knew early on that I wanted to help others, and women especially, find a balance between successful career, family, and personal life. My aspiration to work on my own limiting beliefs and help others led me to psychology. Seeing my dad lack so much balance and joy, and my mom, who didn't fully believe in herself as a powerhouse, created a burning desire in me to challenge everything I had learned at home. As a psychologist, I hope to use the skills that I would learn to help myself and other women overcome internal struggles and limiting beliefs and achieve balance in life. Eventually, I left Brazil and moved to the United States. I graduated with an MBA and climbed the corporate ladder in the high-tech space. I was living proof that a woman could have a career and be successful, but I was not happy. Even before I became a mom, I was already struggling with the lack of joy in my life and feeling that I always had something to prove. After becoming a mom, I was getting back in the rhythm of things with a 3-month baby, and I was faced with a problem. Both me and my husband were scheduled to go on work trips, and we didn't have anyone to leave our newborn daughter Sarah with. I told my boss that I had a situation. My boss was completely disinterested and had no time for my issue. And I had to make a choice between showing up to work and being the type of professional that I have always wanted to be and taking care of my newborn child. I'm curious, by a show of hands, or please send an emoji in the chat, how many of you have ever felt that way in your careers, where you had a moment where you had to make a decision between your family or your job? Staffy was created to solve a problem that I had and to help business owners around the world who also struggled with striking a balance between having joy and being successful at the same time. It was created for men and women who want to see their business growing and flourishing while enjoying life. Staffy provides top-notch virtual staffing solutions with HR support to alleviate law firm owners from onboarding, co-management, and training of their virtual teams. Why lawyers? Lawyers are our biggest clients at Staffy. One thing I have learned is that lawyers are one of the most hardworking people out there, working over 40 hours per week and have a hard time balancing joy and success. A lot of our clients who are lawyers talk about going to law school to learn to advocate for their clients, not to learn how to run a business. So it's a challenge to try to balance between heavy caseload and successfully manage their teams and hire talent. Staffing has been the solution for many law firm owners to achieve more control of their lives and have more time to focus on things that are important to them. Staffing allowed me to take control of my life through delegation. My passion is to help law firm owners grow and scale their law firms without having to pay the price through their stress, exhaustion, burnout, and heart attacks. And while we are changing lives of law firm owners in the US, we're strongly impacting lives of men and women in Latin America by providing well-paid and flexible jobs to those who want to improve their lives and families' future. This is of high importance to me. My name is Raquel Gomes. I am the founder and CEO of Staffy. I'm also a psychologist, author, entrepreneur, and mental health advocate for lawyers. I have built my business 100% with top-notch virtual talent from Latin America. At Staffy, we drink our own Kool-Aid. It's not like we are assigning you with qualified candidates in Latin America while our staff is located in the US. I am living proof that you can build a multi-million-dollar business, leveraging international talent, and still have a life outside of the office. I'm here today to give you insights into how we do it here at Staffy so that you can incorporate some of the things in your own law firm. Some of you here are already using virtual staff. Others don't, but are considering virtual staff for the first time. This session will be interactive, and I would like to lead you in a few exercises and share how to build a successful virtual team and create an effective and efficient virtual staff culture. Please send us an emoji through the chat. I would like to learn the audience a little bit better. How many of you are operating your law firm with virtual staff? How many of you are operating your law firm with virtual staff outside of the United States? Please chat outside. How many of you have one virtual staff who is abroad? If you can chat one in the chat, that would be great. Two, if you have two, please chat 2, 3, and so on, 4, 5, 6. Do you believe joy is necessary for your well-being and success? It was news to me years ago. It may be news to you too. As adults, we forget about joy. We have responsibilities as business owners, as parents, as life partners, and we let go of our own joy and pleasure, don't we? But what I found is that joy is so important. Feeling joy increases your creativity, your productivity, and satisfaction. It even affects your body because it regulates your cortisol levels. Joy is highly related to mental health. Doing things you enjoy can help improve your overall well-being and mental health by 40%. How about correlation between success, performance, and joy? Did you know that there was a correlation at all? More than 60% of successful leaders attribute their ability to manage stress and maintain high performance to having joy and personal fulfillment. 60%. Isn't that huge? Individuals who actively pursue joy and positive experiences in life see a 13% in productivity compared to those who don't. Increasing productivity. But what determines joy? Some people are naturally more joyful, less stressed. Lucky you were born that way. But for those of you like me who are not, don't you worry. Based on my own experience, joy is something we create in our lives. I am living proof of it. Joy is a muscle, like going to the gym. You need to be intentional and intentionally build it up. So now you may be wondering, what the heck does delegation have to do with joy? When you delegate tasks that make you busy, you will be freeing up time in your daily schedule to do the things that are important, not only for your law firm, but for your personal life. And some of the time you are freeing up can be intentionally dedicated to experiences that bring you joy. Here are some of the benefits that delegation can bring to your life and business. Share in the chat. When was the last time you went on vacation and were really able to disconnect? How many of you are able to hard stop working after 6 p.m.? Please say aye. Are you able to be 100% off on weekends? Are you able to go to the gym or do physical activities daily? Do you have time to create new processes and service offering for your law firm? Because that requires time. Let's take a look at a law firm owner that does not delegate versus a law firm owner that does delegate. The law firm owner that is not delegating has a slower growth rate, higher levels of burnout and stress, and higher turnover. Now, the law firm owner that is delegating has the opportunities to plan and expand their law firm and achieve a better work-life balance while being more productive. Let's see how not delegating affects your bank account. According to 2024 Legal Trends Report, the average lawyer bills less than 3 hours out of an 8-hour workday at a national average rate of $276 per hour. As you can see, the majority of the lawyer's workday without delegation is spent doing busy work that can't be billed. That changes significantly with delegation, as the majority of the 8-hour day can be focused on billable work and income-producing activities. When you have others to delegate the administrative, client-facing, marketing, and lower-level legal work. Is being busy productive? I used to think that the busier I was, the more successful and productive I was being. And it's funny how I think the opposite now, actually. And when I changed this mindset is when I started becoming exponentially more successful, not only financially, but also mentally, emotionally, and physically. When you're keeping yourself busy, you're tricking yourself into thinking you are being productive, but it's quite the opposite. Being busy is actually robbing your time from doing things of high impact for your business and life. Now let's take a look into what's keeping you busy. From extensive experience at Staffy, we have identified 4 main areas of work within the law firm, which are administrative, legal, client-facing, and marketing. Under these areas, there are 68 tasks that can be easily delegated, and we are showing some of them here. When you book an initial staffing strategy session with us, our HR experts, they go through this list with you in detail And from that exercise, we're able to tell you who your next hire should be from experience, background, personality, and soft skills. Because we're very big into putting the right person in the right role, not only that so they can thrive in the role, but that they can stay for the long run. So let's take a moment to look into this task list now. You should have received a worksheet via email today, or if you haven't, please check the chat right now for a link that can be downloaded so you can do this exercise with us. The worksheet is a fillable PDF. If not, you can grab a piece of paper and pen, and I'll give you a few minutes to write down some of the tasks that you see here that are currently consuming your time. If you can identify 5 or 6 from the tasks that you see here today, that's good enough for this exercise, and I'll give you a few moments to complete it. Now that you have completed the first step, let's think about how much this task is worth per hour. So let's put a $sign next to each one of the tasks you defined are consuming your time. Example, answering phones should be at $16 per hour. Drafting legal documents, I'm putting those at $25 per hour. Work on the CRM or case management system, you can value at $16 per hour. And so on. I'll give you a few moments to complete this task.
Raquel, for those people that are completing the task, what hourly rate should they use? Is that local to their market, or is that $16 an hour from somewhere else?
It could be, yeah, use the what's local for your market. All right, moving on. Now from the tasks that you wrote down, let's identify those that are worth less than $100 per hour. And let's circle those, please. As a rule, those should be delegated as your time is worth more than that as a lawyer and a law firm owner. Do you agree? Since this is online, if you agree with me, please hit me up with a yes or an emoji on the chat. Now that you have a list of tasks that are consuming your time, you allocated a $sign to them, you have identified which ones are valued at less than $100 per hour. Let's now group the ones that are under the same areas of work. So those would be administrative, legal, client-facing, and marketing. And that will help you identify how you are spending the majority of your time. I'll give you a few moments. Now let's take a moment to reflect on the following. Do you need to be the person performing the tasks you wrote down? Are they below or above your hourly rate? Could you delegate some or all of the tasks that you wrote down to someone else? What's really stopping you from delegating? The most common barriers stopping lawyers from delegating are around lack of budget and limiting beliefs. Let's dive in and break those barriers. In-person staffing can be pretty expensive. Have you considered alternative staffing solutions? Did you know that 78% of US law firms now use virtual and offshore staffing for some tasks? 43% of US law firms use virtual staffing for deposition and drafting legal documents. Today's average law firm has virtual staffing with about 3 virtual staff members on their team. Is one of your worries about the cost of bringing on a new employee? By utilizing a virtual staffing agency like Staffy, we're not only assisting you in finding, vetting, and screening and training the right talent for the right role, we are also removing the HR headaches and costs that come with traditional in-person staffing solutions. Did you know that in 2022, 165,000 law firms were surveyed, and Legal Scoops found that virtual staffing agencies like Staffy saved solo practitioners and law firm owners up to $250,000 per year in employee expenses. Isn't that huge? I want to give you a brief overview on how we work. We are constantly interviewing, vetting, and screening candidates from Latin America. These are highly qualified professionals with a college degree and years of experience in their field. We screen on average about 1,500 applicants per month, And from those, only 1% make it to the final cut and are hired by us. After they are hired, they go through an intensive training to get them ready to work for a US-based law firm through the Staffy University and have to graduate with a 90% or above in order to stay and to be assigned to a law firm client. We have a very strict vetting and screening process that takes us about 5 weeks to determine if someone is a good fit or not. As part of the vet and screening process, we run background checks, global and local. We call universities to validate diplomas. We call 5 years of employment to make sure they would be rehired. We run English assessments, oral and written. We have multiple interviews, one of them being led by our in-house psychologist. We check their workspace, ensuring that they have private office and secure internet access. We do not allow for co-working spaces. We run behavioral assessments and personality tests to make sure we're placing the right candidate within the right role. All of the soft skills that you're seeing here, communication, attention to detail, problem solving, organization, adaptability, time management, and empathy are being checked for. We are the only company that does that. For example, if you need a person to oversee client-facing work, we need to make sure that not only they come from the right background and experience in client care and sales, but that they are highly empathetic and care to help others, because that's what lawyers do. You are in the business of helping people. They also need to have a personality that thrives and feeds from human interaction on a daily basis. You have identified which tasks that you need to take off your plate, but you still think you cannot afford it. Time is money. So the question is, how do we free up your time so that you can make more money? You have learned that when you start offloading any administrative, lower level legal work, marketing, and client-facing tasks to a highly qualified virtual staff member, you will be able to focus your time on high impact and billable work. This is what you do. Analyze what would you do with 3 additional hours daily. Which are the income producing activities that you can start focusing on or start doing more of once you start delegating those tasks that are under $100 per hour? For example, joining networking groups such as provisors, BNI, local chambers, and attending to those events where you connect with other lawyers that can start referring you business. Doing one-to-ones with potential referral partners so they can trust you and start sending you referrals. Focus on more billable work. Initially, it may seem like an investment, but let me ask you this. How are you expecting to grow your business and be in your business at the same time? Limiting beliefs are patterns, ways of thinking and behaving that we learn typically from our parents and significant others. These are beliefs that are impeding our growth, reason why they're called limiting beliefs. The most common limiting beliefs we see in small law firm owners where it relates to delegation are perfectionism, control, delegation PTSD, and fear of management. Which limiting beliefs are holding you back? Let's go over them together. Perfectionism. Who here thinks, or like me, used to think, that I must do it myself in order to be done perfectly? Please send me an emoji. In this thought process, we think that we do things perfectly, but in reality, there are so many ways of achieving the same result. And truth is, perfect is an illusion. You think your way is perfect while someone else thinks their way is better. Perfectionism is a way of micromanagement where the focus is on specifics on how to get things done, when in reality, what's truly important is the end product being finalized correctly. So focus less on the how and more on the results, always making yourself available in the process to guide your team and answer questions. Control. Who here feels that they need to control everything? Everything must go to me first. This is exhausting, isn't it? That used to be me. The key is to focus more on the end result as well. Give your staff a chance to prove themselves. When you are controlling every step of the way, you're not giving your staff a chance to show their skills, and they won't feel empowered that way. Actually, that's quite the opposite will happen. As time goes on, they will be afraid of making decisions on their own. Who of you, like me, has had a bad previous experience with a hire in the past? Is that getting in the way of you hiring again? We need to learn from bad hiring experiences, but not let them freeze us from moving on. Did I identify the correct skill set needed for the position before I hired? Did I define the role correctly before I hired? Did I vet and screen the candidate correctly before I hired? Meaning, did I take into account their soft skills, their personality, besides their experience and hard skills before I hired? Mistakes and bad experiences are part of life, but something I do with my business is that we use every mistake as a learning opportunity so it doesn't happen again. And I am inviting you to do the same for your life and business. We know how common fear of management is among solos and small law firm owners. And that's why we created a methodology that alleviates this specific pain point for you. Let me explain staff's methodology. Once we assign a full-time virtual staff to your law firm, we have an entire team supporting you to make sure that your representative is doing a good job and adding value to your law firm. Here on the left-hand side in blue is you, the law firm owner, and to the right is the in large pink circle is the staff representative assigned to your law firm. As you can see, we have our client success team, which are business and leadership coaches who work with you on a regular basis to see how things are going and ensuring that we're helping you free up your time and delegate properly. Our clients see us as an extension of their law firm from an HR perspective. The circle around the virtual staffing representative assigned are all the coaches that we have supporting this person to help with the onboarding process, the continuous training, and co-management of the virtual staff. I'm not going to cover here today each one of the coaches that are working with our virtual team. I do want to share with you, though, 2 areas of coaching that every one of our virtual staff receives while working with staffing, and you too. The first ones are our in-house psychologists, who are mindset coaches. They ensure that our representatives are being cared for emotionally. As I told you before, I'm a psychologist and mental health is very important to me. I know for a fact that if you're not at a good place emotionally and mentally, you won't perform well at your job. Our in-house mindset coaches ensure that everyone has a safe space to elaborate on things that happen on their personal lives and on the job. The second form of coaching I want to share with you today is our performance and task coach. This person helps the staff representative with time management skills, task prioritization, and writing mini manuals about their role to document processes for your law firm. This methodology was created to free up your time. Our average customers tell us that on the support alone, we give them back on average 5 hours weekly. This is without taking into account the full-time person who is assigned to you that is obviously freeing up much more of your time. I've given you a lot to think about today. What are your goals? Are you looking for more work-life balance? Are you looking to generate more revenue to grow your law firm? We learned today that joy can bring you all these things, especially when you delegate. Delegation is the key ingredient for more joy and success. I would love for us to continue this conversation. If today's presentation resonated with you, please scan the QR code on the right. Feel free to schedule your free staffing strategy session with my team. And I would love for us to stay connected on LinkedIn, where I share content on women in business, leadership, and delegation. The QR code on the left will take you to my LinkedIn page. And We are now sharing both of these links in the chat. Thank you so much for your time.
Raquel, thank you. That was fantastic. I really appreciate all the information you gave us. Shout out to you and your team. I know we routinely refer our clients to Staffy, and you have a 100% success rate with our team. So it really enables my clients to free up their time. And as you know, and other people may know, I firmly believe that time is our most precious asset. So thanks for everything that you and your team do at Staffy in helping attorneys free up their most precious asset.